There are other glyphs you can use, of course. The Hawk I always see as a bit of a cheat because it's so easy to use and maneuver from the height it gives you. It's a fairly surefire way of hitting his weakness too, but I see it as abusing the system somewhat, so I'm going to avoid using that. There are some brothers that it doesn't work too well on though, so it's not completely imbalanced. I had to knock that little ball away. If they're on the middle of the battlefield, then they're a constant hazard, so you have to move them. The little ones can be broken easily, even when they're being flung towards you, but the big ones take a bit more effort, or it might be impossible. I haven't tried that hard. Now that he's done his throwing attack, and one of my attacks is en route towards him, I have to dart across to the other side and prepare for the magnetic one. It can really catch you off guard sometimes. I'm well out of the way here, but if you're a bit close, it always helps to put a pillar in between you and him, to give you something to catch onto. I really wish you could use that thing as an environmental hazard, but alas, that's not happening. And after he's reorganised himself, he'll come on for another assault. It seems as though he can see you sometimes, but a lot of the time he'll wander completely off course. Quite hard to tell. Now I'm doing something insanely reckless. When I picked up the ritual glyph, it showed off a tutorial, which showed it being used against Caterpillar to quite large effect. The point that it triangulates on is quite small, so it works very well having lots and lots of targets to aim for, but you have to get really close, which means that, in my case at least, I'm constantly getting sapped of health. Frame rate got annihilated there. Look at all those shards. Bear in mind he soaks up more damage in the middle part of his health bar, so that actually was quite effective. He'll regrow those balls in no time at all, and he's just about to... Yep, just managed to dart behind this pillar in time to evade his attraction. Whee! If he manages to pull you in further, then that bounce that he does at the end has more effect on you, to the point at which he can skip you all the way across the map and off the edge. That's what makes Caterpillar so difficult, because he's got a virtual insta-kill attack. Our Tumbleweed will just get caught here, so I think we're in need of an aerial assault, just this once. It allows me to pull off a trick shot anyway. Some crazy deflection going on here. I can dodge his thrown attacks by hiding behind columns too. The battlefield is really well set up. Each contestant is protected and hampered by the terrain. Not just the attacks, but the movement as well. When he flings you at the end of what will now be called the attraction attack, having a pillar in between me and the edge has saved me on several occasions, I recall. He's all the way over there. I moved a bit nearer to him since I realised I was quite close to the edge, and that always puts you at risk of being knocked backwards. And it's easy to do so. I've even managed to walk straight into a crack in the ground that I didn't quite notice, because whilst the perimeter is vaguely circular, it does jut in several places. Now that he's on his second wheel, he's a bit faster. I think he may attempt to home into you more often, and he may attack more frequently, but I'm probably just making stuff up at this point. Of course, he's not going to rush up to me when he's got himself stuck. I'm a bit cautious about how much colour I've got, so I'm going to have to wait until this cycles round to something that I can attack with. Silver's hard to come by, so it wasn't really a massive oversight, but I could have done with collecting some more of that by killing the bulbous predators. Ha! That's even better than putting a shield up for myself. That costs colour. And now I can be fairly confident that my Tumbleweed is going to hit whilst the violet segment is highlighted. So I'm going to set up a bunch of rollerball groupies to trundle up to him and harass the hell out of his... You know, I'm not very good at innuendo. I've never taken the time to perfect the skill. So I apologise if it's not coming across quite right. That was pretty perfect, and now we're at the third stage, where he actually starts doing something new, as all the brothers do. He really does seem to be homing in on me now. There's probably a way to explain that away too. Like, as the brothers get closer to death, they become more in touch with their power with the colour, enabling them to leach out through the chamber and sense you. Oh, anyway, he's doing his new thing now. See, I was trying to keep myself grounded this entire time, but look at him, flapping out of range like a big chicken. It's fun to mess, but I'll let him play through this charade. While he's up there, he allows all the other balls he had to roam around freely. Whoa, and they get everywhere, so very few places are safe. We have to be on guard. And that's the final point of note in this fight, is that the balls do damage by being close to you, and they take off a very small amount of damage at a very fast rate. That means that defense is completely useless, since it only decreases the amount of damage done and not the rate at which you take it. Oh, he just dodged that one. That was a great shot otherwise. So with this slow sapping of your health, combined with the fact that at no stage are you invulnerable, if you get too close to him while he's doing his attraction attack, then you'll get stuck right in the centre of the storm, which, contrary to what you might have heard, is the most dangerous place. Even if you don't get thrown off the side in the ensuing release, you'll have a huge amount of damage done to you, making him not only hard but also scary, because the moment at which he's doing the most damage to you is the point at which you cannot escape no matter what you do. It looks like the final blow is impending, so I'll let him get his final words out.
Righteous will of the seeker of thine guidance, heed. Meet blood with blood, taboo breaker, bind. Crushing flesh, twisting mind, constrict. Feed your thirst, bury him under heel, kill. Cold-blooded argent, unbendable backbone, treasury of the forsaken kingdom, patron of the takers, strengthen thy servant. The one who listens to thee, searches for thee, and is blindly obedient, shall be answered. The skin of the keeper, his tendons, ligaments, and muscles, shall be hardened. His heart, open to lympha of all.
Peace for them. You bring life with you, and they hate you for that. And they're absolutely right. When a spirit appears, change is coming. Everything that defined the meaning of life will be destroyed.
That all took a bit longer than I expected. I really don't think this ball should be just hanging in midair like this. I seem to be able to crack it if I put enough effort into it. I'll just stay out of its way. It's got its own methods of dealing with Caterpillar's death, and I've got mine.
Sentinel. This glyph extracts a stone golem from deep underground. If the golem is then touched with color, there is a short delay before it explodes, scalding everything around it with released color. The more color you charge the golem with, the longer it will hold its form, and the more damage it will do when it explodes.
Basically a landmine, another one I'll have to practice with before I show it off properly. That wasn't my one true heart. More will die before I find my prize. The brothers are born from fear, so I've brought Caterpillar peace. The nightmare doesn't sound too peaceful, so maybe he's just ceased to be. If I can convince myself I'm not doing too much wrong, I'm sure I can live with my actions. Hey, Gong. Well, I don't know who I'll be killing next, but I've got everyone in my sights. I am the new death.